I am here with Dave Ramsey, personal finance expert and the host of The Ramsey Show. Dave, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sarah. Honored to be with you.
As we head into the end of the school year, what advice do you have for college grads when it comes to managing their finances?
You know, this next batch of college grads and the last 2 or 3 batches are some of the best we've ever seen. This particular generation is very serious about their money. The ones that are responsible and plugged in anyway. And so they've got a lot of opportunity in front of them and they realize it. So be very, number one, be very intentional. Obviously lay out the standard budget, have a game plan. Big mistakes that college grads make, they immediately feel like they need to go buy a new car in the first 6 months, like to celebrate graduation or to reward myself for graduating. You don't deserve that reward. You don't need a car payment. Let's stay with the hoopty, keep your lifestyle down. And the second mistake that kind of goes in concert with that is they tend to kick the student loans if they've got them, kick the can down the road a ways. Don't do that. Go ahead and attack that student loan with a vengeance, drive the hoopty, keep living like a college student, get yourself clear so that you can take that great new income you've got and build wealth.
And what about advice for new homeowners?
Well, buying a new home right now this is a great time to buy. Interest rates are up and the real estate market has slowed down. It's still increasing. There's still a shortage of housing, and so it's tough to find a really good house at a really good deal. But if you can find one, regardless of the interest rate, I want you to go ahead and buy now if you're out of debt and you have your emergency fund in place. And if later the interest rates come back down, you're not stuck. Just refinance and dump the old mortgage that you had at 6% or 7% or wherever it lands right now. The second thing is don't buy too much house. Don't get so excited and go buy something you can't afford and become house poor using up all your disposable income with your house payment. So you don't want your payment to be more than 1/4 of your take-home pay on a 15-year mortgage. If you're a new home buyer, listen to me carefully. We've studied millionaires for decades. The typical millionaire, the first $1 to $5 million of net worth they get is their paid off home, and you've got the opportunity to set yourself up to do that fairly quickly.
And what about advice for new investors, and also who should be investing? How much money do you have to have before you should look at yourself as a new investor?
Well, again, back to those millionaires again that we were talking about, they steadily invest in things like a Roth 401k with a match hopefully, and maybe a Roth IRA if not, and some good growth stock mutual funds. And that steady investing, and you and I know from our world, they get the advantage of dollar cost averaging doing that. But that constant steady investing, it doesn't require a lot of money to become fairly wealthy, especially if you start early. Now, here's the trick. We teach folks to get out of debt, everything but your house, and build that emergency fund again before you start your 401k. Because if you don't have an emergency fund and you have an emergency and all you've got's a 401k, you're going to do something stupid like cash it out early and end up with big penalties and taxes and all kinds of crap coming at you. So do this stuff in the right order. Get yourself free of car payments, free of student loans. Now you've got money to invest after you put that emergency fund in place. We recommend at what we call baby step 4, you start putting 15% of your income into good growth stock mutual funds in some kind of retirement plan. Hopefully it's a Roth 401k with a match.
And you are the best-selling author of 8 books. Is there any piece of advice that shows up in all 8 of your books?
You know, the thing, I've been doing radio now, we've been doing the various versions of the show. These days it's called The Ramsey Show. It started out being called The Money Game a million years ago. But for 32 years now, we've been on the air. And you know, most people, I would say a ton of the things that come at us show up in these 8 books all the time, is if you just pay attention, be intentional with your money. Very few people intentionally go do something stupid. But it's when we're not paying attention, we're not thinking about the money, we're not saying, what's this going to do to me 5 years from now, 10 years from now? How's this new car purchase that I can't afford going to affect me long term? How's this $100,000 of student loan debt that's been hanging around so long I think it's a pet going to affect me long term? And so we tend to go into denial and just live over here separate from the money, like the money's going to behave or something. Money doesn't behave unless you make it behave. And so this idea of just simply being intentional, do money on purpose. It shows up in everything we do at Ramsey.
you've dedicated your life to teaching people how to manage their money and grow their wealth. Do you find that money makes people happy? Where do you stand on that?
Well, there is a certain point, and there's some research out there to back this up, that a little bit more money does add some happiness because you're not stressed out about every little thing. You're not stressed out about the light bill. You're not stressed out about whether you can feed your own children or buy them shoes. But past a certain point of necessity, then more money does not equal happiness. Contentment is a big indicator of being content with where I am, is a big indicator of whether someone can be happy. We tell folks all the time, hey, get you a big pile of money. There is nothing wrong with getting a big pile of money, but it's going to make you more of what you already were. If you're an angry person and you get a big pile of money, Lord help the people around you. You know, if you're a giving person, a generous person, you get a big old pile of money, you become what we call a philanthropist. If you're crazy and you get money, boy, you are cray. I mean, you are out of control, right? And so the crazy in your family magnifies. So whatever good and bad is going on in your life, if people that are depressed when they get money, they're more depressed. They're not less depressed. And so people that are happy when they get and content when they get money, they're more happy and more content. So it's a magnifier more than anything else. And if you eat enough lobster, hey, it tastes like soap. There's only so much consumption you can do. And so when you learn the power of generosity, the power of giving, and what that does in your spiritual life, in your emotional, psychological, and relational life, what that does, you're going to find that generosity is actually the most fun and the most happiness quotient that money possibly can provide you.
Okay, and final question. Of all the people that you've mentored over the years, what is the biggest mistake that you see over and over again that you wish you could help people get over?
I think folks continue to try to fix the money thing with math. And I'm a math nerd. I'm formally trained in finance. I've got a finance degree. I've got all these letters and licenses and crap after my name that says I'm supposed to know something about this. And it turns out that personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge and math. The problem with my money is the guy I shave with. If I can get this guy in the mirror to behave, he can be skinny and rich, but he's got issues, you know? And it's a problem. And once people get that idea that, you know, you can't fix this with math. You can't fix it with get rich quick. You can't fix it with a secret. There's not a secret. It's controlling you and saying, I'm going to live on less than I make intentionally with a plan called a budget, and I'm going to systematically get out of debt, build savings, build investments, increase my generosity as a series of intentional acts, incremental acts over time. And these are the people that have well-rounded, solid marriages, their kids still like them, and they become multimillionaires. And it's very, very possible, it's very, very probable. Anyone can do it, but the reason most people don't is most of us refuse to face the guy in our mirror.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to be with you. Thank you for having me.